Hey, it's a Tuesday edition of Running Point. Boss is in the house. I gotta behave myself now. DJ is in the house, and mainly because you were in Louisiana over the weekend, and we're going to talk YSU baseball right now with the skipper of the Youngstown State University baseball team. He is Dan Bertolini, and he joins us on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. Have you survived the Cajun Tour 2021, young man?
Oh, it was phenomenal. What a great weekend, and despite regardless of results, I thought it was a really strong weekend for our program, and proud of the way that we played baseball this weekend.
Yeah, the old saying is iron sharpens iron, and you had an opportunity to see a really good mid-major team in Nichols State, and obviously one of the 10, 15 best teams in the country in LSU, and I was damn proud of the fact not only were you guys competing with LSU, you could have very easily won one, if not both of those games. You guys competed on that level, and that is something that I'm hoping will take with your program as you go into conference play this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. We felt on Friday, the game one against Nichols, that was really the only game we really felt kind of that one got away from us. That was a game that we should have won. That it was a little bit disappointing that we didn't. But it was a one-run baseball game. We played well. We started a freshman in that game, and he did a good job for 2 innings. And I think we had a couple long innings there that both of our guys that we brought in, Nick Perez and then Matt Brofsky, they had to deal with some long innings. And I think when they came back out, they weren't quite as sharp. But then, going into the night game is a tough situation. We drive from Nichols to Baton Rouge and play, and we got there about 5:45 for a 7 o'clock game. Showed up, took a couple swings in the cage, and it was probably about an hour and 20-minute drive. And we got out, and I thought we played exceptionally well. We pitched it well. Colin Clark threw a really nice game for us. They hit a couple mistakes that typically, you don't see them all go for home runs, but in that case he did. He struck 10 guys out, didn't walk a batter, and we had 2 guys on in the ninth, and we were 1 hit away from having a tying run at the plate. So that was a good one. We come back the next night and played a great game against LSU again. Had an opportunity to take the lead in the ninth. We had a runner on second and 1 out and couldn't get him in. Obviously, they hit a home run to walk us off, and then came back strong. I was just happy with the way that we approached each and every game, how we were able to come back on Sunday after having a tough loss on Saturday, and played really well on Sunday to get the win and kind of end that trip on a positive note.
Dan, before we go into into all 4 games, talk about the atmosphere, not just at Nichols State, but the atmosphere in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, it was a fun weekend to play baseball. I mean, Nichols had a great crowd there, and it was a good atmosphere. Kind of windy, but other than that, it was pretty. It was a good atmosphere, and then obviously LSU got just so much respect for their program and their fans. They're tough, but they appreciate good baseball. And when we made plays, or towards the end of the game when it was tight, like they were very complimentary of our program, and it's just a fun environment to play in front of. I'd love to be there with 10,000 fans in the stands, but the 30, probably 3,000 or 3,500 that they had there provided a really good atmosphere for baseball.
It's interesting, Danny, that not everybody gets the kind of back behind the screen look that we get as announcers. And after that LSU walk-off, we had a chance to go kind of with you guys in the parking lot and watch you kind of decompress, as most people don't. And you had some great words for the team after a couple former Penguins spoke. Would you mind kind of dipping into that and kind of letting people know? Because what I saw was a great leader in that moment, and obviously you don't have to go word for word, but you had some great words for the kids about the expectation has changed at Youngstown State over the last 3 to 5 years of a program. I couldn't have been more proud in that moment. So if you wouldn't mind just kind of telling everybody what you said to the guys.
Yeah, it was really nice. We had former Penguins, Phil Klein and Cody Durth came down to watch the game. Phil's a former draft pick here, pitched in the big leagues, and he had a lot of really complimentary things to say about us, and just how much they support our program and how much it means to them, and that kind of got it started. And just talking to the guys about, it started really with this group. Our first year when we went to Louisville with these guys, the guys that are now juniors/seniors, we went to Louisville and played, and we just played against Louisville. We didn't really have an expectation, I don't think, to compete. And then we got a chance. We were a little bit better against Mississippi State and Florida State. We played some closer baseball games, but I don't necessarily know that as a group we expected to roll in there and win. But the difference was for this group is that we played all 4 games. It didn't matter who we played. Our expectation level is we're going to win baseball games, and it hurt because I think we expected to win, and I think those experiences that we've gained over the last 4 or 5 years have helped our program grow and help. I've seen the maturation process of our players, and I just told them I was proud of them, that the way they represented themselves, the way they carry themselves. And I told Gary, I know some guys were upset. The ball was hit for a home run, and I just told Gary, we trust you, we love you, you're our guy, you're our closer, and when you get put in high leverage situations a lot, there's going to be times where you don't come through, but you got to want that ball in that situation, and we gave LSU everything they had to offer. I thought at times we were the better team. We played a better game. They were able to hit some balls, out of the ballpark. But I thought if anyone watched those games and saw the way that we played, and you took the uniforms off the two teams, I don't necessarily know you would have known which one was which. So I'm proud of our effort, and I was really proud of Gary being able to come back the next night after having a ninth inning where you give up a walk-off to come back and get the save on Sunday. I thought that was really big for him. So I just there's just a lot to be proud of. But at the end of the day, wins and losses are wins and losses. So we got to find ways to continue to grow and get better and win those games in the clutch. And I think one of our guys told one of the ushers, like, hey, well, hopefully we'll see you guys in June. So I think that was a big turning point for us.
That was one of my favorite moments of the entire trip, is when that young man said, we'll see you in June, because that just tells every team needs one of those guys. But this team is filled with all different kinds of characters. You talked about Gary Cliff Jr., and I was so proud of how he responded the next day, because it was like it never happened. And everybody knows the pitchers are a little quirky, but the deeper you get in that bullpen, the quirkier they get. And you got one of the quirkiest in Gary Cliff Jr. Talk to me about the mentality of this young man and how he's continued to be a leader over his maturation process, I guess, over the last few years.
Yeah, he's had a crazy story here. From Youngstown State transfer from Eastern Michigan. Came in his first year here and he was actually the first player I recruited here at Youngstown State, and he came in and had to sit that his first year, had a freak accident where he was doing some exercising and tore his meniscus, had to have surgery, so he missed most of that year. And then the next year he comes back and tears his UCL, so he has to have Tommy John surgery. So then he's out for basically most of the second year that he was here. Got to come back and pitch probably, I think he got maybe 5 or 6 appearances, just like a starter, pitch 1 inning and come out of the game. And then, kind of was that and really right before he was able to come back from Tommy John, that same meniscus that he tore, the stitches kind of came out and he had to go back in and get it re-cleaned up. So he's been through a lot here. And then for him to be able to kind of earn his way into that spot and be our closer, and he's got a lot of confidence in himself. And we're deep in our bullpen. We're old. We have a lot of veteran guys, Chad Coles and Joel Hakes, the all-time appearance leader, Dalton Eric. I mean, those guys have pitched a lot of innings and a lot of important games for us, and we have a lot of confidence anytime we can turn it over to those guys to finish the game. But it was huge for Gary to get back on the right track. Pitch her clean 9th inning and get a save in a crucial game for us to get back to winning baseball.
Tells me you got a legitimate closer. I mean, obviously, the fact that he had to go through so much off the field tells me that he's not going to be shell-shocked if he gives up a walk-off. The next night, he'll just sit back and go, give me the ball. I'm gonna get the job done this time. Don't even worry about my situation. That's my kind of guy.
Yeah, he doesn't lack confidence. I'll tell you that. So, and he's one of my favorites. He's got some quirkiness to him. He's a jokester. He'll bust some chops. But he's a fierce competitor. He wants the ball, and hopefully that's his second one on the year, and hopefully he'll be set up for a lot of those along the way.
You got a really nice compliment from a good friend of mine who's now a part of the LSU family and has been for a number of years. The pitching coach, Alan Dunn, have a relationship that goes back about 15 years. And I asked him, I said, AD, I want you to be really honest with me. What did you think of Youngstown State? And he told me, he says, they're a good club. They threw out a bunch of really good arms. They're fundamentally sound. This is a team that's going to go places, and you guys should do really well in the Horizon League this year. That's a testament not only to what you're doing with the program, Dan, but I think it's a testament of what the kids that you're recruiting, the type of the caliber of kids that you're recruiting at Youngstown State.
Yeah, I mean, we have a great group. I mean, this is a lot of people have veteran, ball clubs this year just because of COVID, but this is a really, high achieving, competitive upperclassmen group, and we have some young guys that have started to really, really play well. But yeah, I think overall, I give all the credit to these players. They've been through a lot. We go through a lot, and for them to, it's not a usual day for most Division I programs to play in two different places that are an hour and a half away from each other, and not only play one game and you lose by a run and in about 80-degree weather, and then drive an hour and a half and then get out of the thing and play the number 11 team in the country and really play. We faced their number one starter. He was up to 98 in the first inning, and I thought we had some great swings on him. But yeah, I mean, I thought we played great baseball all weekend, and hopefully, now the games are really matter getting into Horizon League play, because our ultimate goal is to win that championship, and you gotta win. You gotta play good when you're in the conference now.
Purdue, Fort Wayne. You guys go to Fort Wayne, Indiana, to take on the Mastodons. First of a 4-game series on Friday afternoon. Give us a little taste of what we are to expect from the Mastodons of Purdue, Fort Wayne.
Well, it'll be their first go around in the Horizon League. Doug Shriver's been a great coach for a long time. He was at Purdue for a long time, and now is at IPFW, and so I know he'll have his guys ready to play. They're kind of similar to us. Their style. They're gonna do some hitting and running. They're gonna bunt. They're gonna look to run and count. They're gonna be aggressive on fastballs. And from a pitching side, they have some guys in the front of their rotation that can definitely give you trouble. They have some maybe some command issues, but have good enough stuff where it can keep you off balance, and they got some velocity. So it's going to be a scrappy, really challenging weekend where they're going to be ready to play. They play really hard, so it should be exciting. Now they only have, I believe they only have the one weekend in so far, so we got a little bit of advantage of kind of being a little bit deeper, knowing a little bit probably more about ourselves, just playing the extra 4 games. But we're going to play at Defiance High School in Ohio because of some field conditions. So it's going to be a new environment for them, a new environment for us, and could be it's a little bit shorter of a park, so the wind blows out pretty good. So could be a high-scoring weekend, depending. So we just got to be ready to win it any way we can.
Weather's chilly, Danny, over there in Defiance in Ohio, but the bats are hot right now for the Penguins. Turner Graw busting out, being the batter of the week this week. An unbelievable weekend for Turner. You were one of the guys that said, as the season goes along, make sure you're watching Turner because he's going to be one of our guys. Very raw, and he's starting to refine that talent, and hopefully he's a long way from his potential because this kid can be a talented young man. Do you expect him to be a breakout star this weekend as well?
Yeah, I think the best part about Turner is he has no idea how good he really is. He's raw, in a sense of, he hasn't played a lot of baseball. He was a 3-sport athlete in high school, didn't play last summer, just hasn't had a full season and only playing, whatever, we played 14 games last year. So he's still, kind of like a baby deer, like a freshman, but he has the absolute most raw skills that we have as far as, size, speed, ability to change a game. He can hit a ball out at any moment. He's a game changer for us. He played some remarkably good defense. I think that was one of the things that we worked on. He was a shortstop coming in, and we transitioned him into the outfield, and he's really started to make leaps and bounds out there defensively. Made an incredible catch against LSU. 2 of them really. One against the right field wall, where he jumped up and almost basically robbed a home run, and then in the 9th inning on Saturday, a diving catch into our bullpen to give us our second out in the 9th. So I'm really looking forward. I think with this team, it could really be anyone. Could be that Horizon League Batter of the Week. We have a really deep lineup, but with him going the way he's going, it really helps our offense because he's a difference maker.
I got to be honest with you. As hot as the sticks are, the defense was outstanding. I would put your defense, and especially your outfield, up against anybody in the country right now. You had Bucko making an unbelievable play in right field. You talked about Turner's defense. Blake Benyo making an unbelievable catch, and Nasani holding it down in center the entire weekend. I think you sprinkled Jeff Whaler in there too. So you look at your defense. The corners are solid. Your bench is deep. This is really, I mean, as bad as COVID was to shorten the season, it's really bolstered your lineup. From the 9 guys that start to everybody on the bench. I mean, this is a really talented team, and I'm not just saying that because we're partnering with you. I was really impressed defensively.
I mean, when we talk to the players, when we bring them in, I mean, that's one of our key focuses. Like, we always talk about how we want to win. We want to win with pitching and defense. I'd love to hit, 100 home runs and be able to, score 1 million runs. But, I mean, at the end of the day, you only have to score 1 more than the other team. So, our ability to pitch and play good defense, we didn't make an error against LSU. We made a couple against Nichols, just some weird. It was a very windy.
Oh, it was a jet engine.
Yeah, as you know, it was 20-mile-an-hour winds blowing basically dead end the entire weekend. So there was some funny plays there. But, I just think our defense is strong. No matter who we put in there, we have. That's the hardest part, but the best part about my job is being able to manage and navigate, our lineups, because we have so many guys that can help us and so many guys that do things really well. Everyone got some opportunities. I mean, Braden O'Shaughnessy gets a pinch hit late in the game and ropes a ball that basically starts our 8th inning and it gets us, 2 runs to tie the ball game. You got, Pat O'Shaughnessy coming in off the bench at times, getting some starts, being able to drive the baseball around the park. Blake Benyo got a spot. Defensive replacement later in the game, was able to make a big catch. As soon as you go in the game, the ball is going to be hit to you.
Yep.
The first 2 plays get hit to right field. One's going away from the fence, and then, kind of had a little miscommunication there in right center. But, and Trey Law had a nice weekend, came in again on Sunday as a freshman. His first couple games, he got a hit in his first game, played last weekend against Troy, and then comes through with a hit, a walk, and a nice sack bunt. So we're versatile. We can kind of beat you in a lot of different ways, and I think our lineup it's been challenging, but it's a good group, and they understand that we're going to go with the guys. Andre Good had a huge weekend, so looking forward to seeing what we can do in the Horizon League.
Skip, what's the lineup going to be as far as your rotation goes? I know that in a normal 3-game series, you'd have the call-in kids 1 and 2, and then you'd have Snyder with 3. Well, now you got a 4-game series with the league. So who gets the ball for the 4-game series?
So we'll have Colin and Colin. We'll go Friday and Saturday. So the way it's going to work this weekend is we're going to play a single Friday, a single Saturday, and then a doubleheader on Sunday. So, Snyder will get it in one of those. He had a great game. He's got basically our 2 wins this season. And then, we're still kind of working that out. We've had a few guys in the mix. Travis Perry, obviously, is a guy that's been, had a bunch of starts for us. I thought Nick Perez did a decent job last weekend in his first start of his career, and Matt Broski. So it'll be some combination of those guys throwing on Sunday. You feel good with both Collins on Friday and Saturday if they can do their job and get us a good quality start. We have some good, we're deep in the bullpen. And then, we use Snyder and then, kind of empty it out on the last game on Sunday, see where we're at. So I think any of those guys can start. We don't know exactly what it's going to be yet. We'll kind of see how things progress this week and make a decision a little bit closer to the weekend.
You mentioned Travis Perry. He had a nice bounce back, what was that, 2 days ago now? We traveled yesterday, so the days are starting to run together. So he came out of the bullpen and looked really good. It seemed like he sped up his delivery a little bit. Good for him. A rough outing at Troy, coming back and taking down the Colonels. Had a nice outing. Do you feel confident in Travis and what he's been able to bounce back? And again, another pitcher able to have a short memory.
Yeah, we basically told him, we had a conversation. It was already pretty much predetermined that we were going to go with one of the 2 guys that didn't start against Troy. So either Matt Broski or Nick Perez were going to be the starter on Friday, just because we didn't want to bring anyone back on short rest. And Travis had the start on the second game on Saturday against Troy. So we just didn't want to bring one of our guys back quite yet on short rest. We didn't want to move Floyd up or anything like that. So we went with Nick, and so we talked to Travis and just said, hey, listen, you're going to have an opportunity in the bullpen. The one thing, our main focus for you is we want to see a pitch with a little bit more intent. Instead of trying to save yourself to throw 4 or 5 innings, we want you to go out there and kind of empty it out and give us 2 or 3 really good ones. And he did a great job. I don't know, we didn't have the gun on the velocity, but his velocity probably looked up a tick or 2. Yep. The breaking stuff was a lot sharper. So, he's just got to continue to work on that part of it because he's got a really good arm and he's got, plus changeup. He's a big guy coming out. So depending whether he's a starter or whether he's sort of in that middle to back end, it's still kind of up in the air. But I was really happy to see him kind of take that next step and really come out. And, he wasn't pouty about it. He really came out and kind of took that on and pitched at a high level.
Dan Bertolini, the manager of the YSU baseball program, joining us on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline. And as I said, with the conference games now at 4-game series, you get an opportunity to find a 4th starter. And is it one of those situations where it's right now up for grabs and you're just going to go with whoever takes the bull by the horns and they're the guy, or what is the plan looking forward as we go into conference play on a weekly basis?
Yeah, I would say we obviously feel good about the 3 guys with Collins and John, and then we're still working it out on that 4th guy. Now most of the time that'll be a doubleheader on Saturday, so that will change things just a little bit. But regardless of who it is, we just need, it's not necessarily, it might not be one person. We don't need a 5 or 6 inning start probably out of one guy. We have enough depth. There were some guys that have good arms that didn't hardly throw at all last weekend. So, for us, it's going to really come down to putting whoever that may be. We have enough guys that we can match it up on a game. And if one of those guys is hot and can throw 4 or 5 innings, it makes us even better. If not, we can roll to the next guy and throw out 5, 6, 7 guys that can really go out there and pitch and help us win a baseball game.
Yeah, Johnny Allstaff for one game isn't a bad idea, especially if you have 3 guys that you're comfortable with that when they're on they can go 6 and 7 innings.
Right. Yeah. Any of those guys could be throw 7 innings and throw a really quality start. So. It's kind of a luxury for us to have. It's a little difficult to navigate right now, but as the season goes on, everything will work itself out. well, I'm sure we'll have a little bit more clarity as the year goes on.
I kind of like this because you got the Collins up here, then you got Johnny Allstaff in Game 3, and then Johnny Ballgame in Game 4. I like that.
Yeah. I mean, John Snyder's throwing the ball exceptionally well, so we're happy with his progress. He threw a good game last weekend. The win was tough, kind of holding his off-speed stuff up a little bit, but I think he gave up 2 runs in 4 1/3 innings, and kind of went out there and did his thing. So put us in a great spot to win a baseball game. And Nate Ball comes in, hadn't thrown all weekend, and threw a great, got 2 huge outs for us to get us into the 5th, and that was big for us. Got his first college win.
All right, I gotta let him in on a little secret here, Coach. That second game against LSU, we posed a question from the bullpen to the coaches, then in batting practice. It was, if you had to be penned up with either a tiger or an alligator, and you had to get out alive, which one would it be and why? We asked everybody. There was only one, because there was a tiger on campus, right? So they have Mike the Tiger on campus.
Mike the Tiger.
So if you had to be penned up, like you're dropped in, you got to survive, which one would you rather take on? Ron, what's your answer?
Alligator. Alligator all night long.
The only one that would choose a tiger is Shane Davis.
Dalton Eric also jumped in on the tiger.
Oh,
but
you chose. I thought you chose the
Gator wins 100 out of 100.
No, it's you against the Gator or you.
They're
That's what I
fighting.
said. He said he'd rather be against the Tiger.
Skip, you've not lived until you have seen someone go into the waters and alligator wrestle.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
I was, they filmed that show, Swamp People, right there in Thibodeau, right where Nichols is. So I
That explains
I didn't
a
get
ton.
a chance to see the Swamp People, but I didn't get to see Jacob and all the guys at Troy and all the Swamp People. But
we got in a little tussle with the people at Nichols State because they wanted to pronounce our guys' names way different than they actually are pronounced. They came in for the pronunciations, and we told them. They said, "No, that's not how it's pronounced, y'all." And I said, "No, it's because they wanted Turner Graw to be Turner Grow."
Yeah.
And I was like, "No, it's Graw."
Yeah.
And he's like, "I don't believe that is the case, my young man." so they had,
Look here, boy. I said, boy, this is not Graw. It's Grow, son.
it's Bertolini. And I said, "No, it's Bertolini. Bertolini." It was an interesting place down there. We went to New Orleans on Sunday night after the team left. I could never cut it down there.
I love that city.
Could not
God,
cut
I
it.
love that city.
It was loud and dirty. That's about
Yeah.
about as deep as I want to go.
Yep.
well, yeah, I mean, I enjoyed our time on the Bayou, and would love to go back down there and get an opportunity to play those guys again. Hopefully, we'll be able to set something up. But you couldn't ask for better weather, nicer people. They were just
Awesome.
very hospitable all the way around. And, two good programs. I give a lot of credit to Seth. He does a great job with Nichols. They're a really solid club, and they kind of know who they are. They play their game, and I'm sure that they'll have good success this season. So, we'd love to go back down there, and maybe I'll get a chance to meet some of the Swamp People.
There you go. Is Shane Davis the Youngstown version of the Tiger King? Is that what we just figured out?
Yeah, I think he is, basically. He has no problem wrestling a tiger. He's like, you can just pet him. I said, yeah. Yeah, after you bites your arm off.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the only time I'm going to go up against a tiger is if I have a steak that inside the steak has a bunch of tranquilizers. I go, here you go, big guy.
Tigers love pepper. They hate cinnamon.
Yeah, okay. Zacharopoulos, the best line of that whole movie. Yeah, I would just throw this thing at on the floor and say, there you go, bud, have at it.
You would let a tiger eat a steak? I've seen you around a buffet, Ron. You're not letting that
Well,
tiger get anything.
I mean, I've loaded this steak with a tranquilizer. If I know the steak doesn't have tranquilizer, we're having a death match to the, give me my steak, big boy. I'm going to have to,
I'll bet $50 if it had tranquilizer in it.
Now I know how to get Ron.
There it is.
With a tranquilizer.
Hey, you ain't touching my food, big boy. That's not going to happen. I mean, I'll probably get eaten alive, but I'll go down fighting for my T-bone. And you ain't touching my steak, son.
Yeah, I think that would be an interesting matchup. You put a steak in the middle, and you have a tiger and Ron going after it. See who can win.
Yeah. No, but as far as who I'm gonna wrestle, I'm gonna go with a gator. I saw a guy in the Dodger organization. He had Joe Walsh from the Eagles on a boat in the ocean, and he was wrestling gators. Joe Walsh looked at him and said, man, I can't touch this thing. My hands are, $1 million with Lords of London. I ain't getting anywhere near this thing. And my man's just beating the living hell out of this gator, just elbowing him in the snout and whatnot. He's grabbing him. He says, come on, man. He says, this thing ain't going to hurt you. And Joe Walsh is like, you're crazy. I ain't touching it. I ain't going anywhere near this thing. Yeah.
If you had one player, Coach, to send in against an alligator and win, who's it going to be?
Chad Coles, without a doubt.
Nailed it.
He'd have his short shorts on, his cowboy boots, and he was a wrestler in high school. And I was recruiting him. I called him up. And I said, hey Chad, what's going on? What are you doing? He's like, oh, nothing, Coach. Just taking my pigs for a walk. I said, what? Yeah, he was taking his pigs
Beautiful.
for a walk. So I got him any day of the week against the gator. I know he could take it.
Love it.
Yeah, the minds of some of the baseball players. You could spend a whole week getting into that lost, deserted place. That's what makes baseball so great. I love it.
Absolutely, yeah. We got some characters, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, you've recruited some characters, and you've also recruited some great talent as well. And I'm really looking forward to the Horizon League play. It starts this weekend. You play the Mastodons in Defiance. Apparently, Fort Wayne is not suited for baseball right now.
Yeah, I mean it would be very similar to Eastwood. They have a grass facility, which is going to be really difficult for them to get on the field at this point. I think last week when I talked to Doug, they had like 4 or 5 inches of snow on the field. So yeah, we're going to move it. Defiance has a nice facility that we're able to use as a turf field. So looking forward to a good weekend, and hopefully when we talk next week, we're feeling pretty good.
Fly the Y, buddy.
Listen, all I know is the first 2 weekends you're going to be testing in a big way. The Mastodons this weekend and Wright State, who is supposed to be the team to beat, and we got to go to Dayton. We're going to know a whole lot about this baseball team over the next 8 games, and hopefully it's an 8-game winning streak for the Penguins.
Yeah, we take very cliche, but it's very prevalent for our program. We take literal 1 game at a time, and we'll be focused on Friday and hopefully play a really good game Friday, and then we'll worry about Saturday when we get there. But this week we'll be preparing for Friday night and kind of really diving into some of the scouting stuff for our opponent. You got to respect everyone you play and kind of know their tendencies, and then go out and go play. So we're looking forward to getting into Horizon League play. We didn't get a chance to play any Horizon League games last year, so excited to kind of do that this year.
Dan, with the games being moved from Fort Wayne, Indiana, to Defiance, Ohio, which is on the western side of the state, let everyone know the game times for the games this weekend.
Yeah, so we play at noon on Friday, we play at 3 o'clock on Saturday, and then we play a noon doubleheader on Sunday. So I don't know. I don't think there's going to be any fans allowed this weekend, just with IPFW protocol. So I think hopefully they'll have them streamed. If not, you can catch the live stats for the weekend.
Has the Horizon League made a decision in terms of fans? Because I know the Horizon League said no fans during basketball season. Now that we're switching to an outdoor sport, are they addressing that situation?
Yeah, it's left up to each individual institution on what they want to do. So, we will have fans at our games. We'll follow the state of Ohio protocol on capacity. I think in March we'll be able to have. It shouldn't really impact us very very much. We're rarely getting 1,000 fans at a game, but I think for March it's 900, and then for April it moves up to 2,000. So we should have no issues at Eastwood, but I believe Fort Wayne is taking a stance of no fans, so we'll have to go abide by their rules.
All right, Dan, always a pleasure. Knock 'em dead this week, and hopefully we're taking 4 from the Mastodons.
Sounds good. Enjoy that steak. Don't let DJ get you a steak. that you haven't seen them prepare.
Yeah, no kidding. Now that's a little disturbing that you guys want to put tranquilizers in my steak. I mean, that's a little disturbing.
Hey, that's DJ. That's not me.
Don't blame me. Don't blame me. We'll start talking Steelers Browns if you want to go there.
Oh man, now I got to watch for all the stuff that I purchase or the stuff that I'm getting around here.
Stuff that you eat out of our fridge.
Well, yeah, pretty much. I'm just looking at this going, wait a second. Is this planted here so I eat this and then...
If it says for Ron, you probably don't want it.
Yeah, there you go. We'll go reverse psychology on everything now. Dan, always a pleasure, sir.
Always a pleasure. Talk to you guys later.
See you. This should be fun.